As the lights of the soundstage at Universal Studios Hollywood were turned down, the crowd that was bustling with excitement fell into silence. With a palpable excitement that could only be evoked by a live finale of The Voice, the air was filled with a crackling sensation of expectation. By the 20th of May, 2025, Season 27 had reached its peak, and it was time to celebrate. The top 5 finalists had given their performances with all of their hearts the night before, and now the entire world was waiting to find out who would emerge victorious and take home the trophy. On this particular evening, however, the stage was not solely occupied by the participants. Blake Shelton, the cowboy who had shaped the show's spirit for 23 seasons, was doing a triumphant homecoming, and it belonged to a legend who was making his triumphant return. At the moment that host Carson Daly walked into the spotlight, the audience, which consisted of a sea of glowing phone screens and anxious faces, began to stir. The murmurs were broken up by his voice, which was friendly and recognizable. "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we celebrate not only the incredible talent of our finalists, but also the legacy of The Voice," the host said. "Who better to join us than the individual who has been a part of this place from the very beginning?" Sensing what was going to happen, the audience exploded in chaos. As he makes his return to the stage, he will be playing his new track titled Texas, which is taken from his album titled For Recreational Use Only. Who is Blake Shelton? As the stage was flooded with light, there he was standing there. Blake made his way out of the room, his lanky figure covered in a black denim jacket, his cowboy hat cocked just so, and a sly grin tugging at his lips. It was a tidal flood of love from admirers who had missed him ever since he stepped away in 2023, and the cheers were so loud that they could be heard. It was more than just a performance. It was a return to one's hometown. Texas was a gritty, twangy ballad that sounded like a dusty backroad under a wide-open sky. The opening chords of the song boomed out. The room was filled with the rich and weathered sound of Blake's voice, sounding like aged bourbon. He sang, "I'm writing down 35, chasing that Lone Star vibe," while his eyes scanned the crowd, making a connection with each and every soul that was there in the room. Shelton was the only person who could carry off the swagger that was present in the song, which was country to its very essence. With a kick drum that thumped like a heartbeat, the band that was directly behind him propelled the rhythm with their tight and flawless performance. Kelsey Ballerini, Michael Bublé, John Legend, and Adam Levine were all seated in the coaches' chairs and leaned forward, as if they were enchanted by the performance. The old adversary and buddy of Blake, Adam, laughed and shook his head, as if to convey the message that he is still in possession of it. In front of the cameras, Kelsey could be seen mouthing the lyrics, her eyes shining with admiration for the individual who had served as her mentor as a new coach. Blake was bathed in shades of amber and red as the stage lights pulsed in rhythm with the song, suggesting the sunsets that he had experienced in Oklahoma, where I was born and raised. It was more than just a song for the people in the audience. It was a moment that will forever be remembered in the annals of The Voice. Since his heartfelt farewell in Season 23, when his team's Grace West came agonizingly close to winning, Blake had not returned to the show. A hole had been left behind as a result of his leaving. His larger-than-life demeanor, his quick wit, and his ability to recognize raw talent were traits that could never be replicated. And yet, there he was, taking control of the stage as if he had never come back. "We miss you, Blake, and Team Blake forever," were two of the signs that were held up by fans in the crowd. Those who were overcome with sentimentality brushed away their tears. Blake slowed down the song as it reached its bridge, and his voice dropped to a raw, intimate growl as he finished the song. As he sang, "This old heart's still beatin' for the land that keeps me free," you could sense the weight of his journey, which consisted of 23 seasons, 9 victories, and the transformation of countless lives of people. When the camera turned to Gwen Stefani, who was seeing the event from a VIP box and her eyes were sparkling. This particular stage was the birthplace of their love story, which became a part of the legend of The Voice that fans adored. With a smile that was equal parts pride and love, she clapped along with Blake as he put his heart and soul into each and every song. The concert was about more than just the songs he played. A commemoration of Blake's legacy was held at the event. Moments from his time on The Voice were displayed on the enormous screens that were located behind him. It was during the first season that he was seen giving his chair over to Javier Cullen, who was his first winner. He was there, joking around with Adam Levine, and their friendly competition was a regular feature on the show. There he was, guiding Cassidy Pope, Danielle Bradbury, and Bryce Leatherwood to success, each victory serving as a demonstration of his capacity to cultivate potential. At each and every memory, the crowd erupted in applause, as if they were witnessing a collective history being played out in real time. When the song Texas reached its peak, Blake lifted his fist and his voice rose to a higher pitch. After the band went into overdrive, the stage was engulfed in a fireworks display, with sparks falling from the sky like a thunderstorm in Texas. When Blake began singing, the audience was on their feet, singing along with him. Their voices blended together to create a chorus that sounded like a family gathering. This performance was the epitome of The Voice. It was unfiltered, genuine, and unabashedly emotional. As soon as the last note came to an end, the applause became extremely loud. Blake smiled broadly and with great sincerity as he tipped his hat. His Oklahoma drawl was rich with emotion as he stated, "Y'all, I've missed this place," highlighting his sentiments. "I am grateful that you have allowed me to return and perform singing for you tonight." As they were unwilling to let him go, the crowd applauded even louder. Blake received a pat on the shoulder from Carson Daly as he set out on his jog. The words, "Man, you just brought the house down," were spoken by Carson, who shook his head. "You are very welcome, Blake." Within a conclusion that was packed with star power, the performance stood out as a standout. The song The River and the song Empire State of Mind were combined by Alicia Keys and Amanda Reed to create a soul-stirring masterpiece. Another voice icon, Kelly Clarkson, unleashed her unique vocal artillery on her new single, Where Have You Been?, which she released earlier this year. On the other hand, James Bay and Sheryl Crow made their debut with their duet You and Me Time, while Chance the Rapper delivered a new and exciting mood with his song Space and Time. Joe Jonas captivated the audience with his rendition of Heart by Heart, while Foreigner wowed the audience with a medley of their famous songs. The final guest performance was God Made, which was performed by Bryce Leatherwood, the winner of Blake's Season 22. This song was a tribute to the country origins that Blake championed. In spite of this, Blake's moment lasted the longest. It wasn't just a performance when he came back, it was a reminder of the reasons why The Voice continues to play. It is a show about the heart, about discovering the spark that is within those who are not famous and making them into celebrities. With his cowboy boots and larger-than-life personality, Blake exemplified the ethos that he was trying to convey. When it came time to announce the winner of Season 27, whether it was Jadine Cree, Lucia Flores-Wiseman, Jalen Johnston, Renzio, or Adam David, the atmosphere in the room was charged with an electric energy that was fueled by Blake's presence. Following the announcement of the winner and the falling of the confetti, Blake and Gwen stood together with their hands intertwined behind the scenes. Although he was not a coach tonight, he continued to be the driving force behind The Voice. His rendition of Texas was more than just a song. It was a love letter to the show, to the audience, and to the music that had been the driving force in his life. While the credits were rolling, the audience yelled his name, which was an appropriate way to say goodbye to a night that demonstrated that Blake Shelton would forever be the cowboy king of The Voice.